The riskiest thing you can do in business is to be safe. Your job as a leader is to lead people somewhere. And in order to lead people somewhere, you've got to be able to like draw a line in the sand and say, not that, this.
Taki Moore is one of the world's top business coaches, working with leaders like Alex Hormozi, Dan Martell, and Jay Wright. He's trained over 600 coaches worldwide to scale beyond 7 figures.
So the 12 hours I put in turned into $80,000 in ticket sales, $112,000 a month in extra cash, which is like $1.2 million for the year. It's like 110 grand an hour. Most people don't work, like even if they're at an office for 40 hours, they're not working 40 hours. We're wasting so much fucking time. If we're at work but not working, why don't we just like take the at work time and actually work, and take the time that we're at work but not working and actually not work? You can just do things. You don't need permission. The Wright brothers never had a pilot's license. They just built a plane and they flew. And I think like there's so many build a plane and fly opportunities around us. Life can be incredible. And all you've got to do is like come awake to the possibility that you can do big things. And if you're scared, fix nervous with service. Just get busy helping people and they'll come back to you. Today we talked about a lot of the good stuff. I've had some hard stuff like everyone does. Don't let the hard stuff get in the way of you being fully expressed, like a dialed up to a level 11 you. If you're the founder of the business and the face of your business, this is like the single most valuable thing you bring to the business. It's like the only thing that matters is.
This episode is brought to you by Wix Studio. For the listeners at home or the viewers watching this on whatever platform you're watching this on, we're going to do something a little special today. And I think what's so great about you, Taki, is you like to draw and you like to kind of like manifest your ideas with diagrams and different breakdowns and things. Now, there's something...
Also known as this guy can't think without a pen.
It's like a musician with a guitar.
It's totally like that.
So I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed around your content is you just like to give things away. You like to break things down and make them simple. And you have this amazing framework called the Lifestyle Empire, and it's how to redefine success. So what we're going to do is, for those listening, I would encourage you to try to view this episode. But Taki, like, please take us into the Lifestyle Empire, and I'll just follow you down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, so let's talk about why this matters, right? So Dan Martell, great friend, long-time friend, and I know he's been on the show. Asked me to speak at his event in Canada 2 years ago. I'm like, man, I'd love to help, of course. What's it about? He goes, well, the event's called Empire. Cool. He said, it's for empire builders, not for lifestyle businesses. And my mouth, to my shame, my mouth said, oh, that sounds great. And my heart was like, oh, because like every business is a lifestyle business. Because every business impacts your lifestyle, for better or worse. And I think if we do this right, as your business gets bigger, your life gets better. And if you do it wrong, something's always suffering. So I'm like, how do we do lifestyle and empire super, super well? And that's the big idea behind this thing. For me, I know I'm killing it when 3 things are true. And I want as much of these 3 things as I can. So it's money, it's meaning, it's freedom. Bam. So let's call this one money. We want as much of that as we can. Your revenue and profit. Meaning is doing work you love with people you love. I think if you run a business, you get to choose a bunch of stuff. You've got a bunch of control that you otherwise don't have. Like that maybe if you're an employee, you don't have it to the same degree. And so like choosing clients you really care about. And regardless of whether you're employed or you run a business, making sure that you're in a role that you love. If you run a business, it's really easy if you're not careful to like take on too many jobs. I think broadly, we were chatting about this before, like you're a maker or a manager. And I found myself deep in like manager territory.
Just real quick, what's the difference between a maker and a manager from your experience?
Yeah, so this comes from a essay by Paul Graham. Think about a maker as somebody who likes to build things. So it could be a videographer, could be a designer, could be a writer, could be a coder. And what those guys need is like long periods of uninterrupted time to do their stuff, to create. And then there's managers who run on their goals are different and their schedule's really different. And so a manager's job is the ideal day for a maker is long, like hours of time to yourself. And a manager wants like 15-minute increments through the day, back to back meeting people, checking in on their stuff. It's really hard to be creative in 15-minute increments. Like if you had an hour as a whole hour or 4 15-minute slices, one is obviously way better than the other. So I'm a maker. I'm not a manager. I'm a much better founder than I am a CEO. And so for me, meaning is like, am I doing work that I love with people that I love, producing stuff we're proud of? So that's the meaning side. And then freedom. Like if you've got great money and no freedom, dude, if that's your jam, go for it. It's whatever makes you happy.
And by freedom, you mean like the time to do whatever you want, essentially.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time freedom, like where you want to be, when you want to be there, with who you want to be there. I think that's the dream. And so I'm not poo-pooing the hustle bros. Fucking love hustle bros. I'm 49, dude, I think, maybe 48. I work, for me, the dream week is like 4 days a week, 4 hours a day, super happy. And the rest I can go off and live my life. So money, meaning, freedom. That's the big idea. And I think if you've got those three things to the degree you want them, then you've got this kind of 7-figure lifestyle empire. And it's like big business, great life.
Why is it the why that unlocks this? Like if we're looking at this system here, like how do we attach motivation to this system? Like if you're looking at this and someone's watching this right now and they're like, okay, cool, but like how do I make this like something I'm excited about or I care about?
Dude, that's the easy part. So we'll talk about hows in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about why. I think the easiest way to think about this is what happens if you don't. So the opposite of like lots of money is no money. So if you don't do this, you'll be broke. That's bad, right? Meaning. Well, the opposite of that is like meaningless. It's like it's toil. You're doing stuff you don't like with people you don't enjoy in a job that's in a role that's out of pocket and it doesn't make any difference. Well, that's kind of lame. And freedom. Like, do you want to be some kind of Dilbert cubicle slave rotting your life away? Well, no thanks. So the why is like everything's like, for me, it's like if you get granular, there's a scale, there's a spectrum of like I've got a little bit of this or a lot of this. But if we just like make it a light switch, like black and white, no money or all the money you want. Well, I'll take the money, please. Meaningless or meaningful, I'll take the meaning. And like free or trapped, I'll take freedom.
Okay, cool. So you're looking at it like a sliding scale, left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like if you're honest about it, there's a dimmer on this switch.
Yeah, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Or a gradient.
But if we just want to get people hooked to this idea, we're just going to make it an on-off switch. Like not enough or enough, I'll have enough. So I think that's the why. Then it becomes fun when we can turn these things into games.
Okay, like gamifying the experience.
Yeah. So if we just said like money, like how much money are you making right now and how much do you want to make? And so if we, let's sketch, let's say we had a little scale and we'd say, oops, wrong button. I don't know. Let's say we're at, $20,000 a month, but we'd love to be at $50K a month. Okay. So like that's our scale and we're probably, down here somewhere on the spectrum. There's some room to grow. We can quantify all of these things. Like freedom, easiest metric for freedom is hours or days. So it might be like how many hours a week are you working or how many days a week are you working? And the flip side, like how many are you off? And there's nothing wrong with being working hard. If you're doing stuff you love, awesome. I'm like in this season right now where I've gone from like very cash to like madly in love with my stuff after 2 years ago, I was in a bit of a funk. And so now I'm like very happily working more than I used to, but I'm in a role that I love. Anyway, so I think the why is just like all of these things can be like not enough or enough. And I think the fun comes when we go like, how do we turn money into a game we can win? I reckon we start with money and we can chat about the others.
Let's do that. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we got a bit abstract there. Let's get tactical. What you believe about money really makes a difference. There's this dude, Joe Polish, who said something once, and I was like, that's exactly how I'm going to think about this from now on. He said, money is fun tickets.
Money is fun tickets?
Yeah. You know, when you go to the arcade or to like a...
Or like a fair?
Yeah, like a fair.
Yeah.
And you do stuff, you win tickets, and at the end you go to the shop and you spend the tickets on the toys. Yeah. That's what money is. Money's fun tickets.
Oh, like you're in the arcade, you win the tickets, you get to redeem them.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I believe money's fun tickets. I chose to believe that. And so if money is fun tickets, then getting more is better because who doesn't love fun things?
Yeah, you want more of those things spitting out of the machine as many as possible.
As many as possible.
So you can get the cool prize at the
Correct.
top.
Exactly right.
Yeah, the top shelf prizes.
We'll link that to a campaign in a sec. I've got this amazing client who's like, I believe money is thank you notes. And so because if you think about it, money is either things they pay you after you've done a good job to say thanks, or things they pay you in advance to say, thanks for the good job you're going to do for me.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if money is thank you notes, who doesn't want to collect more thank you notes? So money's good, right? So firstly, I think the first big
You're
idea
changing like what it means to think about your relationship with money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like it's a simple idea, but I think it's good. So if we just draw a little ticket stub, let's go. Money is fun tickets. That's first thing. How do you make more money? First, you make it okay. 2 years ago, I like old things, right? So I've got this amazing vintage Land Rover from 1974 that I love, Series 3. I live on an island over this other side of the river in Noosa. Driving down the dirt road, lost control, crashed, hurt myself pretty badly, totaled the car. And so I was banged up. That sucked. But the worst thing was, like, my favorite car's dead. So I'm like hunting for a new car. And I find this, the only thing that can replace an old car that's crashed is like an even older, better car. So I find this 1965 Land Rover Series 2. It's gorgeous. And it's $72,000. I've got the money, but it's fun to earn them, to win the prizes, right?
Yeah, it's almost like you're in an arcade. You're like, I want that.
Yes. So I've got to play this video game and beat this level to get the beat the boss to get the prize. That's fun. I think when you're early stage, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But when you're doing pretty well, sometimes it's hard to, like, you lose just gets a bit beige. So I like to make things a game. So I'm like, okay, how do we make $72,000 fun and fast to buy the car? Well, if I ran an event at my house, we had like 12 people come to my place in Noosa for 2 days. 12 people, because that's how many chairs are around the dining table. I couldn't fit more people. It was like $8,000, or I think it was like $6,000 or $8,000, depending on if they were a recliner or they weren't. That'll pay for the car. I'm like, that's cool. So we run this campaign called a swimming pool campaign. John Lennon from the Beatles was in bed one day with Yoko Ono, his partner. And she's like, John, I wish we had a pool. And he's like, I'll write us one. And he writes a song that the Beatles perform and record, and the money pays for the pool. So that's how we think about it, right? So I'm like, how can I like swimming pool this Land Rover? And so I invite people to come to my house to learn this campaign. And I teach them how to, it's very meta, teach them how to run the pool campaign. And you can use it, if you do it once, you can buy anything you want. You can do it once a month or once a quarter if you like to. You can buy anything you want, like whether it's a home or a trip or a old Land Rover, for example. And so they cotton on pretty quick that that's what they're paying for. They come to this house, come to my house for the thing, and the Land Rover that they bought is sitting out the front.
Wow.
So I got the Land Rover printed on
that thing's
foam core card.
That thing's a beast.
Yeah, and then every time somebody said yes and bought a ticket, I just like scratched that piece off.
That's so clever, and they enjoyed being a part of this.
Yeah, and so I printed it out, and I'd write like, Anthony, thanks for manifesting my windscreen and side mirror. Linda, thanks for manifesting my spare tire. That sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when they come, they get the
they get like a little dopamine.
They get the little piece.
And you gave it to them?
Yeah, give them the little piece, and we got to. Anyway, it's fun. So that makes business fun. My goal in life is to be as fun and useful as I possibly can be. And so I think the first thing is like, if money is fun tickets, we got to decide, what do we want to spend the fun tickets on? And then what's the easiest way to like create that thing? I use the word manifest it tongue in cheek. I don't believe in manifesting, but I think the idea, like once you've got skills, we can build an audience and we can trade the thing that they want for the thing that you want. So step one, money is fun tickets. Step two is we're going to write ourselves a pool. What do you want? Then we run a simple campaign to do it. Depending on people here's businesses, I'm sure there's a whole range.
Is there anything that people should think about as like some kind of framework when they're trying to decide, I guess, what it is that they want?
Yeah. Categories. So it's toys, experiences, places, people, probably.
Toys, experiences, places, people.
I think so.
Yeah.
And the people is like, who do you want to experience that thing with? For me, the Land Rover was clearly in the toy department.
So toy is like a fun thing you get.
Yeah. And it might be just like, I need a new computer. It doesn't have to be it could be whatever you want. So we had dudes come to the house. A dude bought a Ferrari. That was fun. Or it was Porsche, maybe. Porsche. Someone else, their goal was, their swimming pool was a family trip to somewhere in Tasmania. Somebody else was like, I just want to pay off a $30,000 Amex debt. That's fine. It's not super fun, but it's more fun than a $30,000 Amex debt. So it's just like a what do I want list. And then the campaign is really simple. It's whether it's an email or a social post, it's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you like to join us? enough information to get people intrigued, but it's like a 2-sentence thing. Not enough information for them to say yes or no. They ask for the details. You send them the details, and they say I'm in or I'm out. It's super easy.
So they decide their pool.
Yeah. First you decide the pool.
Yeah.
That's your dream come true. Then you got to think through what's my audience's dream come true, because that really matters. It's like, hey, give me money so I can buy a car. It's not a particularly attractive proposition.
No.
So what do they want? So you just think like, what's my audience's dream come true? For my guys, it was like, how do I make some quick cash and sign some clients and get their version of the Land Rover? And then how do I want to deliver that in a way that's great for both of us? And so for me, it was like 2 days at my house. It's fun. We bought the house with bringing clients in mind, but it could be, I'm going to teach this class, or I'm going to put together this product or this bundle or whatever. So it's like, what do I want? What do they want? How can I give them what they want in a way that feels good for me? Is like how you design the thing. And I think if you go all the way to like, what's the dream come true? And then sometimes you might need to like scale it back a couple of steps. Otherwise you find yourself running an agency and writing ads for people, and maybe that's not your jam.
So let's say someone has, I guess for people watching or experiencing this, they go, okay, cool. I know what my pool is. I understand the amount of fun tickets I need to redeem the pool.
Yeah. For me, it was 12, but for them, it might be 152.
Yeah.
It might be 1,000. It might be 10.
Yeah.
It's all like a sliding scale of like volume and price, isn't it?
Okay. So people should start with this in mind. Like, how many fun tickets do you need to get the thing that you want that excites you? And it could be an experience. It could be doing something with people. It could be a toy. Or it could be going to a place.
It could
traveling
be
somewhere.
a place.
Yeah.
Or it might be like, I want to do this thing and give back. I don't really care what it is, as long as it means something to you.
So it has to excite people. It can't just be a meaningless thing where you're like, okay, like whatever. But it has to light you up.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, what the fuck are we doing life for? If it's not fun, we shouldn't do it.
Clients want it all. A slick-looking website that can run their business and scale with their success. Wix Studio is built for that. Plan out your client's whole site in seconds with AI-powered site mapping and wireframing. Then when everyone's on the same page, jump into the creative, starting off in Figma or in the Wix Studio editor with super precise layouting tools like Grid, Stack, and Flexbox. Go above and beyond the brief with no-code animations, custom CSS, and built-in business solutions. And make your whole vision responsive in a click. And there's zero need to break a sweat when clients grow fast. A dynamic CMS with global design settings and reusable assets lets you turn one page into hundreds. Design smoother and deliver sooner. Go to wixstudio.com. So let's move across to, do you want to do freedom or meaning next?
Let's do freedom because it's fun.
Okay, let's do freedom.
I think if we can control, like if we got a map for the year and a map for the week, we're in great shape. So let's talk about those two things.
Okay, map for the year and a map for the week.
Yeah. So most people get to the end of the year and they're hopeful that next year's even better and a bit exhausted and maybe beat up by the year that they've just finished. And so every year, at the end of the year, I think about like, what's my theme for the year ahead, like a word. Remember a few years ago, I'm sitting at this Mexican restaurant, like where all good ideas happen. And I'm like, what's the word for the year? And it'd been a good year. Like business was good. It was pretty safe, bit beige. I hate beige. I'm like, we need more adventure. So that was the theme for the year, adventure. So we go off and we're riding camels in Morocco. We had like 3 or 4 really fun trips. And business was good. That was the year that we did 50 coaches to 1 million. And at the end of the year, I'm back at the taco shop. I'm like, this is the best year I've ever had. How could it ever get better than that? My brain just goes like, what if you left and you never came back? So I called the waitress over and I got a napkin and a pen. And I just like started thinking about like what would happen if we like pulled the kids out of school and just went nomad for a while. This is cool. So I grabbed a pen and drew a little circle. And in the circle I wrote Sydney because that's home. 3 times a year I've got to be in Sydney to run an event at the time. And so that was like in March and in July and in November, I've got to be back home. I'm like, well, that's cool. But like, what about that bit and that bit and that bit? So this starts to look like a bit like a propeller. So this became the propeller plan, right? And I was like, hey, well, where would we go? I'm like, well, let's go to the Americas. Let's go to Europe and let's go to Asia. I'm like, well, that's cool. But I like a model when it's got a few different lenses, a bit more granular. So I'm like, okay, whereabouts in America? Obviously, West Coast, Cali's great. East Coast, because New York's fun. And then like South America, Brazil. I got cousins in Brazil. That's cool. And then Europe, well, Italy, of course. Spain's fantastic. And then I'm like, we should go somewhere Viking. Because I forgot Norway, Sweden, and Denmark temporarily, but we called it Viking. And I'm like, Asia, okay, well, we've got a team in the Philippines. We should go see them. Japan, never been at the time, would love to. And then Thailand, because the food's great. I run home with this napkin to my wife. I'm like, hey, babe, I've got this idea. And I'd like show her the propeller plan.
You showed her this on a napkin.
Yeah. Yeah. On a napkin. I'm like, I reckon we should do this. And she's like, what? Anyway, so 4 weeks later, we've pulled the kids out of school and we're off for a year following the napkin.
That quick.
100%.
You were like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
What was your wife's reaction?
Bit freaked out at first. But then the more we chatted about it, the more she's like, yeah, adventures would be great. Part of it was the world feels really divided, and it did back then. Like there's like riches and poors and blacks and whites and Republicans and Democrats, lots of us's and lots of thems. Right? And I was like, but when I wanted the kids to meet all of the thems and realize that they're the same as us, which is fun. So we did. So we did a year like this. And it was epic. And it was so good that we kept it going for 3.5 years, 40 countries, 40 months, something like that. And anyway, so this is in the context of like figuring out your year. And so the big lesson from this propeller plan thing was how do we design a year that's epic? And what most people do is they get busy. But if Stephen Covey was still alive, he'd say you put the big rocks in first. And the big rocks are fun life stuff. For me, that's travel. And so we want to put the holidays, vacations, whatever you call them, in first into the calendar. Like you get a big yearly planner, put the fun in. And then if you run a business, then you put in the money making next. And so the money making might be, I run these events, or we have a Black Friday sale, or whatever those are. We put in we optimize for fun and profit, put those things in first, big rocks, and then the pebbles and the sand come in later. So that's like a year. Start with the important things in first.
So as I understand it, I think I've seen a video where he had like a jar.
Yeah.
And he said if you put the sand in first, then the pebbles.
And the big rocks don't fit.
The big rocks don't fit. But if you put the big rocks in first, then the pebbles, then the sand.
Yeah, the pebbles
it all sift
through, and then and then the sand, and then you can put water on top. And so I got super inspired by Jesse Itzler.
Huge fan.
Yeah, what a funny guy.
I love him. Yeah.
So fun, so smart. And he has every year a Misogi. Misogi is like a year defining adventure. Something that you could say at the end of the year, you could be like, oh, that was the year that we blank. So that's what I mean by big rocks first. So this was the year that I got abs. That was my plan. And that was Misogi for the year. And I was super dumb and selfish, but I was like, it's been year of the ab for 8 years, and I decided to actually fucking do it. To your point about the jar, if you just do life, you never accidentally find 3 hours spare to work on this stuff. You've got to find the time to do the stuff. And so if you put the big rocks in first, the rest will fit around it.
Right. Like if you plan to write a book, you can't it's not just going to happen.
Very unlikely.
You have to kind of build your year around it.
Yeah. You do.
So Misogi is kind of that big thing you have to kind of engineer your life around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we put that in first, and there's usually our clients will pick their yearly Misogis, and there's usually we put in the money making stuff, a launch, maybe workshops or webinars that we run, or events, or whatever the big things that you can the levers you can pull, like the swimming pools that can make some money. And then the holidays, or Americans would say vacations. Well, and once that's in, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to make great money, and the rest, then we can fit the little bits around it. So that's kind of a year. The next idea is a week. And this actually comes from Jesse Itzler's wife, Sarah Blakely.
Oh yeah, from Spanx.
From Spanx. So she's made $1 billion hiding ugly fat, which is kind of awesome. And Spanx is this idea of compression pants. You put them in and hides your wobbly bits.
Yeah, it changes your shape.
Changes your shape. Just like Spanx can kind of compress your body into a shape, we can do the same with a week. And so I was like, what if you could Spanx your calendar? And so if you think about one of those calendars with a week to a view, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through to Sunday. Well, if we sketch that out, in fact, let's draw it big.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is a really fun idea that anyone can do. And if you run your business, you can triple do this. But even if you can't, you've got flexibility and options that I think most people forget. But that's a week to a view. And these are the days.
Do you have an example of someone who's done this?
Yeah, I've got heaps. So started with a great dude, Matthew Kimberley, one of the best copywriters I know. And he's planning out his year using the process that we just talked about. And he's like, you know what? I don't like Fridays. So he just gets a Sharpie marker, just like a big fat marker, just like every Friday's out. So, okay, don't work Fridays. This is cool.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Mondays aren't that great either.
Just deleting days.
Deleting days. Like free to not work. And by the way, I want to make it okay to work as hard as you want if that's your jam. Like I love work. I also love not work. So he crosses out Fridays. And he's like, so 3 days a week, that's fun. And then he's like, well, what if I took off every third month? So once a quarter, I had a month off. I'm like, that's outrageous, but he did it. So it was like, crossed off a day. I think it was maybe started with like a day a week a month, and a month a quarter. He just like delete from his available. It's outrageous. But when you compress stuff, is it Parkinson's law? Work expands to fill the space available to it. I think that's the law. So if you have less time to do stuff, you just get shit done. It does presuppose that when you're on, you actually do the stuff. But yeah, so he spanked his whole year. I spanked my week. So I'm like, if this is a week, firstly you go, hey, what days do I want to be off and on? And just like spanks pants, like compress you in sideways, horizontally. We start by doing that. So we go, you know what? Maybe Mondays aren't for me. So you cross out your Monday or whatever it is. Choose your days you're on, days you're off, right? So in this case, we've got weekends off. I just realized that didn't put missing one day. Yeah. So your Mondays and Fridays are off, whatever days you choose to be on and off. It's just like in a traditional job, you've got weekends and weekdays. So you're just applying that to you as a business owner.
It's like having a siesta during the week.
It's exactly like that's a great metaphor. So you basically spanks it horizontally. What days am I on? What days am I off? But then we can do the same vertically. Like what time do I want to be on and what time do I want to be off? And so for me, I was like, you know what? 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm good in the morning. So I'm going to start at 8 and then come lunchtime, let's call that 12, I'm done. So for me, my calendar is like these, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these 4 days, these 4 hours, that's me. And you've just like designed a great week. It's radically awesome.
So if I were to be devil's advocate here for a moment.
Please.
And if I were to kind of put my mind in, the viewer right now, and they're looking at you and they're going, okay, this sounds great.
Yeah.
But this also simultaneously kind of feels like a fairy tale. Like, is this real? Like, how can I even, succeed when I'm shrinking out all of this extra
Dude, I
time?
can answer that super bluntly. If we put a fucking video camera in everybody's office and we watch them for a week, or we follow them around like a hidden camera dude for a week, there's no fucking way they're working the whole week.
So if you TMZ'd someone's life.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how much YouTube do you watch? By the way, keep watching on YouTube. It's great. How much time do you waste? Most people don't work, like even if they're at an office for 40 hours, like if you watch them, they're not working 40 hours. We're wasting so much fucking time. So if we're at work but not working, why don't we just like take the at work time and actually work, and take the time that we're at work but not working and actually not work? The amount of time that we waste is outrageous. And so what I like about this is when you compress it down, you're like, okay, well, I better get really serious about this. Years ago, I read Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek, and he was like, you get a call from your doctor saying, hey, I've just got the lab results. It's kind of serious. You can only work 2 days a week. What do you do? So that allows you to get really serious about, like, if I've only got 2 days, what are the 2 or 3 most important things? So you get started on that, and he goes, then the doctor calls back next week and goes, worse than we thought. You got 2 hours a week. That gets you really serious about what actually matters and what doesn't. And there's a bunch of like non-needle moving bullshit that we all do. Busy work that either you don't need to do, or the company doesn't need to do, or that we just don't need to do. And so it's either we don't do that, I don't do that, or maybe someone else can take care of it. So the thing that I love this Spanx idea, and you don't have to go to 4 days a week or whatever.
But the metaphor stands, like, could like, you're asking the question, like, if you had to, what would you do?
And just to be super clear, we've said it like Spanx is definitely a metaphor, but our clients do this every day. One of the first things we do is we free up 8 hours a week to work on their stuff, and we've got to carve the time out of somewhere, and we carve it out of the bullshit that's wasted. It's either stuff that's non-productive time, or that frankly somebody else could do, or that maybe the business doesn't even do, or that they're really good at but don't enjoy. There's so much spare time, not for you because you're a peak performance dude, I could tell. But for the average Joe, we're wasting so much time, man. And so if we're going to compress the amount of time we're available, then it means when we're on, we're actually on.
And what does that do for people? What's been your experience when people do shrink their time like this?
Well, everyone who's watching this or listening has had this experience already. Have you ever had like, you're going on a trip, you're about to like take a holiday and your plane's tomorrow and the plane's in either tomorrow or in a couple of days' time. You are so productive the couple of days before the end of the sales quota or the end of the whole, before we go on holidays. We've all had an experience of like compressed time.
Yeah, I had that experience like 2 weeks ago where I had checkout. And I looked at my watch and I was like, I got 13 minutes.
Right.
And I'm running around the room. I'm like, where's my shoes? Where's my belt? I gotta wrap up the cable and like put that in a bag. Yes. You're just being ultra productive.
Right. Because we've all had times where we've got like heaps of time, but no energy. Like it's not time management that's the problem. It's energy management. We're like, I've got a week to do this. Well, it takes a week. You've got 13 minutes. You're going to get it done.
Yeah.
So it just allows you to take things a bit more seriously. And so I think that like if there was allowed to be a third thing for this freedom piece, it'd be like, what are the ideal ingredients of a great week? So I just made this list. For me, like a great week, a bunch of different things happen. Like I'm in the ocean as much as I possibly can. I'm eating delicious food. I'm drinking beautiful coffee. I'm hanging with my friends. I'm doing great work. I'm creating something. I'm jamming with someone cool. I'm teaching something great. I'm recording video or I'm writing. I'm hanging with my family. Like it's just a list of, everyone can make that list of like whatever this is the dream week, what sort of things might happen. And then you go, okay, great. Out of all of those things, what days should those things happen on? So back when I still took sales calls, Thursdays were Money Thursday. Like I only sold on Thursdays. So Money Thursday. It's great. Friday, today is Rockstar Friday. I'm either teaching something or creating something. This is perfect. I'm hanging out with you because it's Friday.
I'm excited to be a part of your Rockstar Friday.
Dude, it's a fun day, right? Yeah. I used to have Team Tuesday. Now I've got a much lighter team and I get to not have Team Tuesday. Like no Team Tuesday is even better than Team Tuesday. And so it's really tricky to go for like the kind of energy you need to be great on a sales call is different to the energy you need to like strategic plan, is different from the energy that your team might need from you when you're working with them, is different from the energy you might need for like when you're hanging out with your friends or whatever. So the schizophrenic bit comes from when you're trying to wear all the different hats on one day.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing this constantly.
Okay. So maybe you could be different people on different days. Can I give you a hilarious example of this? So there's this super famous, probably the OG of business coaching in Australia. His name's Brad Sugars. He runs this business coaching franchise called Action Coach. But when he started, it was just him in his, I think it was like the upstairs room of his dad's house in Brisbane. And so he's running this like marketing consulting agency business thing. And he's just there. And in this room, he had like 4 or 5, so the story goes, I wasn't there, 4 or 5 desks in this one room. It's just him works there. And the phone rings on like Tuesday. And he's like, Action, I think it was Action International back then. This is Brad. Hey, Brad, it's such and such from so-and-so. Can I talk to accounts payable? He goes, oh, I'm really sorry. They're only in on Thursday. Okay, no worries. I'll call back on Thursday. So he calls back. Thursday comes. He's at the accounts receivable desk, or accounts payable desk. Action International. This is Brad. Hey, Brad, I talked to you the other day. Can you put me through to accounts receivable? Accounts payable. I'm accounts payable. Oh, but I called you on Tuesday. No, but I'm only accounts payable on Thursdays. Okay, it's ridiculous. But I think that's kind of how we want to think about these things. Like particularly if you wear many hats, let's at least not wear them all at once.
Oh, that's so good. So rather than trying to be cat in the hat, stacking the hats.
Nobody wants to stack the hats.
Swap depending
hats.
on the day.
Yeah, it makes you way less schizophrenic. That's the fun bit.
I've heard you talk about this as like roles and goals, right?
Yes, 100%. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, go.
All right. Let me just draw the picture here because it needs one. We've got a propeller there. All we need right now is some Spanx pants.
Yeah, let's get to add the Spanx pants. I love this because you're talking about like, okay, money is about like fun tickets and like the prize being the pool.
Yeah. By the way, I just drilled the world's worst set of Spanx pants. I mean, it looks more like a jigsaw puzzle
Sorry,
piece.
Sarah.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah. Yeah, let's call them Spanx pants. So the goal is to Spanx your calendar.
So money is about fun tickets and having the prize and then making business fun.
Mm-hmm.
Business should be fun, like you said.
Yep.
And then you're going into freedom, which is like, okay, Spanx your week and your year.
Yeah, exactly. Pre-design your year and Spanx your week. I think it's basically the difference between living by design or by default.
Okay.
If you're not careful, you get what you get. And if you're smarter, you get what you want, which is better.
Okay. Now, is roles and goals a part of this?
It's part of meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like 2 things I want to say here. The first one, let's talk about goals. there's a bunch of different goals you can set, and I just want to make sure that you're excited about what you're building. I think a big part, at least for me, of having a meaningful life is working on things that matter with people I love to help people I really care about. And so having an impact goal, not an income goal, was really helpful for me. Part of it is like, are we doing stuff that matters? And then part of it is like, what's my role in the part that matters? And so there's a million things that need to get done in a business. And if you're not careful, you end up, let me own it. I ended up, because I wasn't paying attention to it, doing a bunch of jobs that I wasn't suited for and weren't fun. I ended up like being some kind of manager person, and I'm a shit manager. I'm not management material. And so choosing the role that is really happy and fun, like what of those hats we talked about before, like what's the hat that's most happy for you? I'm going to draw a fez because it's the funniest hat that I know. You know, those little red hats that monkeys wear in Aladdin? Yeah.
So let's talk about hats just briefly.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about a business and you think about all the different hats you have to wear, and people obviously at the beginning, they have to wear all the hats themselves because they don't have people to delegate to or even the financial means yet to be able to then,
of course,
hire other people to do that. So if you're at the beginning of this, where should someone start? Should they start by thinking about the meaning, or should they start by trying to decide the hats that they have to wear?
It's really easy for rich people to talk about how much money doesn't really matter because they've got the cash now.
But if you're Jim Rohn with the Girl Scouts at the door and you don't have cash,
it just becomes pretty fucking meaningful. So for me, like, it was desperation. I've always been really good at not doing things I didn't like to do. Really good. I've got a very low tolerance for I don't like. And I think you can be successful despite, I don't want this to sound pie in the sky. At the start, if you're not careful, you can wear all the hats. The truth is that even in all the hats, there's probably some hats that your business doesn't need.
Okay.
Right now.
So how do you choose the hats you do?
Let's say one of the hats is like, we're going to go all in on content. Cool. So in content, you know, do you need to be on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn? And when you start, no, of course not. You pick one, dude. So there's like a bunch of like bits of hat you can just let go of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't just go in the hat shop and just put them all on.
No, you just look like an idiot, man. Just like, put the fucking hats down.
I'm going to start with the Fez hat. Let's say it's like Instagram. I'm going to hit Instagram first.
And then when it makes sense, then I'll add my next channel. So even like amongst all the hats, I think like there's a scaled down simple version of the hats. Is how I think about that. And then the key to getting free, let's say it's just you and there's no employees yet. And that was me a while ago. Here's what I realized. If you think about like your sweet spot hat, and the test is, Dan Sullivan calls it your unique ability. It's you're really good at it. People notice. It's kind of hardwired into you. You've been doing it since you were a kid. It tends to bring in good money, and you could find it like fascinating and motivating forever. The one thing I'd add is like the business wants you to do more of it. For a lot of people, like that's the marketing or it's the sales often, but not always. But right now you're wearing all these other hats. Here's what I've learned. 1 extra hour of you wearing that hat can pay for 10 or 20 or 30 hours of somebody else doing the other hats.
Oh, so you have like a more valuable hat.
Yes.
That can
this is like
feed the other hats.
100%.
Yeah.
So like I think about, we run a workshop once a month. It's almost the most fun thing I do. If I run that workshop, it may, like the last workshop we ran did $80,000 in ticket sales, which is fun, and signed an extra $112,000 a month in extra monthly recurring revenue from that hour or that 2 hours. Well, that's a useful hat. But if I can wear that hat, that pays for a lot of not hat stuff, like somebody else to wear the other hats. So when I first got started, I was like, you know what? I need some help with this, but I don't have like enough work or enough money to hire somebody legit and gangster. So I found an amazing woman in the Philippines called Ashley. And I hired her because the recruitment agency put me all these candidates. She was the only one who used a Mac. So that was good enough for me. And she was like 20 hours a week. And I didn't think I could fill 20 hours of her work. Turns out that was fast and easy. And then 40 hours. And then the kind of team grew as the capacity grew from there. I think like 1 hour of you and your genius will pay for like at least 10 hours of somebody else doing the other stuff that you're not that good at.
Yo, my name's Dane Walker and I am disgustingly obsessed with branding. I had to figure out a way to do branding every single day, so I branded myself. Then, I started my agency, Rival. And hired a team of branding mavericks hell-bent on creating brands so good that they'll make your competition shit their pants. So here's the thing, you want your brand to go viral and Rival makes brands go viral. That's why we're offering you a free 30-minute branding session to get an expert's opinion. If you don't believe me, the proof is in the pudding. Here's what clients have to say about Rival.
Rival is trusted by brands like Nutrition Warehouse, Light My Bricks, and Vumi.
So if you want to absolutely smelt the competition and make your brand go viral, hit the link below and book in your free 30-minute branding session.
So Taki, if we kind of pull this whole system together, how do you want to leave this with people? Like, how should they think about this?
Yeah, so let's high level and quick summary. High level is this. As your business gets bigger, your life should get better, not worse. You don't have to choose anymore between a lifestyle and an empire. You can do both. Lifestyle empire is we've got plenty of money, plenty of meaning, plenty of freedom. And then we just talked about some tactics for each. You know, on the money side, money's fun tickets. We can write ourselves a pool. On the freedom side, we're going to propeller plan a year, Misogi, Big Rocks, and we're going to Spanx our calendar. And then on the meaning side of things, it's like, let's choose an impact goal because the why is in the who. And then make sure we're wearing a hat that suits us, that the business wants us to do more of and that is actually fun. Because if it does those two things, the business grows and it's sustainable.
Now, something I've noticed recently is that you've been producing a lot of content. And what I've loved about what you do, Taki, is you've built a business in obscurity in a sense where you're not necessarily big in the world of social media yet.
Yeah, I'm micro celebrity, like famous in a niche.
Yes.
Can still go to the supermarket without getting mobbed.
Exactly.
Winning at life.
Winning at life.
Yep.
So you figured it out. You cracked the code. What I want to ask you about is now you're making content and you're scaling rapidly and you're doing some really interesting stuff. So like what are you trying to do now that you're coming out and you're producing media and content now?
What I'm trying to do, man, is help as many people as I can and have as much fun as I can. And in the process of doing those two things, make as much money as we can.
Are you running any particular playbook when it comes to how you think about creating content?
Yeah. So let me tell you how I'm thinking about content, because this is I think out of everything in the world, this is the one thing I'm most obsessed about. And I've just like applied this simple framework to content and it's lighting me up. So if you go, oops, that's not a pen. That's a pen. Like a 2-circle Venn diagram, right?
Yep.
There's two sides to me, two sides to you, two sides to most of the creators. And this will be, I'm going to say like it's true for everyone. It's definitely true for me. On one side of me, I've got this artist. And the artist likes to create stuff, wants to express. And then on the other side, I've got the business. And the business doesn't really care about my art, but it's on a production schedule. So it's like I'm trying to balance my desire for expression with the business's need for volume.
I'm dealing with this exactly.
100%. So this is a conversation. I've got this great friend, Ross O'Loughlin. Every Friday, he and I jam. He's like a personal trainer for emails. It's hilarious. We jump on Zoom and he like makes me write emails. It's amazing.
Is it email PT?
He wouldn't say that, but that's kind of how I describe it. He's amazing.
Okay.
Anyway, so he and I have been jamming on this. This model is like 50% Ross's, 80% Ross's, 20% mine. So I just want to give Ross a shout out because he's a legend. If you take either of these to the extreme, like if you're all business, your content's got no soul. It's like, it's manufactured. It's like AI slop. But if you all the other way, you end up like starving artists. So we've got like soulless machine, starving artist, bad, both ends are bad. And so what we want them to do is like figure out how to have them have a content baby, if that makes sense. Okay. So then you think about any creator who you love and admire.
Let's take, dude, I'm a massive fan of Hormozi.
Okay.
And even Layla. Yeah.
Dude, let's take Alex.
Yeah.
So if you think about Alex, his content, every piece of content he puts out has an opinion.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. A strong opinion too.
A strong opinion. And it's, remember years ago when people like hit you up in the DMs every friggin' day going, oh, I can help you edit Hormozi style reels. As if the style was the thing that made Hormozi.
Right.
It was never the editing style. It was always the conviction.
Oh, that's so true. Because I remember that's why people would share it.
Of course.
Because they're like, that opinion resonates.
This dude's got something to say. That's what's missing in our world right now. And so the way I've been thinking about this is if the opposite of safe content, which gets you ignored, is dangerous. I think everyone who's trying to grow online wants to get a little bit more danger in their content. And for me, that just means, am I talking about a topic that I've got some energy about? And do I have an opinion?
Can you really unpack danger? Because I think this is one of those buzzwords that people will hear and go, oh, like I don't want to do that. That's
The question is like, how can I do dangerous safely? That's the question, right?
Yeah. But I don't mean necessarily how do I do it safely, but like how, like really can you elaborate or say more on what you mean by that?
Yeah. I mean, like at its most basic level, I mean, have something to say. Don't just say words. A while ago, I was on Facebook and I saw this dude do one of those like bright purpley pink posts with the big words. And it said, I just wrote a book in 30 minutes on my way home with nothing but AI on my phone. Comment, book, if you want to learn my method. And there's like 74 people have commented, book. And I just commented, was the book any good? Did it say something you actually believe? And he replied, good questions. I'll get back to you when I get home. And he never did because it was shit. Think about what everyone's trying to play the content game. And what content is like, if you like, imagine you got a cardboard box. Content is the contents of a box. It's the stuff that fills the space. The space is pretty fucking full. We don't need more stuff. So instead of like sharing your content, what people are starving for is a point of view, which is like, bring me into your world and show me your worldview. What do you believe? And so I took over my email first and then the other things because I realized that I was sharing I was sharing content. I was filling space. And what the world needed from me, or what I desperately wanted the world to want from me, was my point of view. So I'm trying to share my world. If you think about your life like a TV show, there's some characters in it. Like this space is a character. These guys are a character. Your family's a character. Travel's a character. Business is a character. Like you've got all these different characters and they all like make cameos in your stuff. So like share insights from your world. And then your worldview is like your point of view on those things. And if we just like drew a little table and we did like, we make content, but we share, like we craft a point of view. Like one's like manufactured and one's authentic. Content is like information. Point of view is like insight. I think it's like we're drowning in information. We're like starving for insight. So what people really want is like, help me make sense of this crazy world and tell me what you think. And if I believe the same, then I know who to follow. That's what we're trying.
Well, we do that by nature, right?
Of course.
We go to our loved ones, our friends, our colleagues. Hey, what do you think about this thing? So you're saying that people are starving for that through content rather than just seeing the tips or the advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. We're missing like characters who will take us somewhere. When you got this artist piece dialed, dude, like a great artist can't be copied. Like you think about Hormozi, stylistically, personality-wise, like he's just a one of a kind dude.
He's one of one. He's minted.
He's one of one. Okay, so let's go to the other side, the business.
Okay.
What the business needs is volume. Like it needs to hit financial goals and have production goals to hit that. And so what the business needs you to be is prolific, which is a fancy way of saying let's start with consistent and then spread on to other channels, right? So I think step one, we want to get dangerous, have something to say. Otherwise, we're just like spreading more vomit in the world and we don't need more of that. Then second step is once we've gotten dangerous, let's get prolific, consistent. And here's what happens. When you're dangerous, when you are this artist, you can't be copied. Right? Can't be copied. Think about Hormozi. Can anyone copy that level of certainty, conviction? Nope, I don't think so. Prolific. Have you ever met anyone in our industry who puts out more high value stuff more consistently on more channels?
No.
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 So from a business point of view, can't be matched. Right? Put these together. When you're prolific and dangerous, you get paid. The dude just did like $107, whatever it was, $1 million in a day on a book launch. So I teach my clients, number one, we get dangerous, have something to say. Number two, we get prolific. Say it consistently and often. And when you get prolific and you get dangerous, you get paid. And then you end up with this business that just can't be beat. And I think that's the game. Like if we do this, we stand out. Like otherwise we just get completely ignored. Most people aren't dangerous, they're safe. Most people aren't prolific, they're sporadic at best. And that's why they're not paid like they should be. So here ends my TED Talk.
And then when you bring these two different worlds together, it creates like friction or a dynamic, or like what is that?
Okay, so here's the how, the skill is like, how do you point your creativity at an offer? So my journey was like, I'm gonna start writing emails. And I just started with like thinking about my week, what had happened last week, and like pulling mostly funny, embarrassing stuff that happened to me, or cool things that happened to clients, and writing stories about them or shooting videos about them. And that was cool. I started like find my voice, and as I found my voice, people started to find me, and that was killer. And then I was like, okay, this is good. I'm getting attention again because people have started to tune me out because I was not worthy of being paid attention to because I was sending them bullshit and wondering why they didn't care. And now every week I pick if you think about like content calendar, I guess, every week there's an offer, like it's something for sale. So I'm either promoting Black Belt, or I'm filling a workshop, or I'm talking about Boardroom, our high-end mastermind for dudes doing $1 million a year or beyond, or whatever. So just think each week there's an offer. And then we go, what's the theme? Like, how can I talk about this thing that I talk about once a month from a different angle? So in Boardroom right now, next week's campaign's about Boardroom. And my theme for Boardroom is, it's always like cool people doing cool things. And so I just picked a couple of cool people who are doing rad stuff. So now I've got like this offer and this theme. And I'm now within the constraints of that offer and that theme, I get to be super, super creative. And the artist gets to come alive, but I pointed at money. So we went and ran this workshop called Prolific and Dangerous a couple of weeks ago. 380 whatever people bought a ticket. And all I did was like, that's my offer, that's my theme. Workshop is the offer, Prolific and Dangerous is the theme. And then I go, okay, what are the pain points that people have? What proof do I have? What's my philosophy about it? Like, what do I believe? And what's the plan? And I just like went ham, wrote a bunch of cool shit, shot some reels, shot that. And so now it's prolific, it's daily and it's on multiple platforms, but it's pointed at an offer and it pops. It's really fun, dude.
I think this is such an important lesson that you're teaching here, because so many people think so much about the exchange between, I got to get customers. Okay, I'm going to use social media as a means to get the customer. And it feels and sounds predatory. And that's how most people don't describe it, but that's what they're really doing. So,
yeah.
that, and I meet people all the time that are like, hey, how do I get this system to get engagement for me so I can make the money? And you're saying you have to really understand what is the exchange to get the attention, even in the first place.
Yeah. So here's my rule of thumb. Like if every piece of social content which has a CTA on it, or an email which has a CTA on it, if we took the CTA out, it needs to stand on its own 2 feet and be standalone useful. So every piece has got to like deliver an insight, a payoff. So there's a story, there's a from and the to, there's a payoff. If there's no payoff, it's just promotional. And every now and again, it's fine to go, hey, I'm doing this thing, do you want to come? But if you think about the give-ask ratio, I think people are either all assholes, or they're all give, and they're like, it's basically like, am I going to be a douche or a loser? That's a bad combo. But if we can make everything like useful and generous on its own, with a next step for if people are ready, I think we end up doing really, really well. I'm still not good at like the mechanics of that, like the hooks and the like. You guys I've watched some of your vids this week, and knowing that I was going to come here and hang out with you guys, and you're like next level. I'm good at dangerous. I'm good at prolific. I'm not good at the viral attention mechanic stuff.
So when you think about people making AI slop,
yeah,
what's the danger, not only for the content to not work, what's the danger of the founder or the creator who's putting that material out?
Oh, dude. Yeah, okay. We need to draw this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about this. AI content is like voicemail in the DMs. Everybody loves to send them. Yeah. Nobody wants to receive it, right? So here's what happens. So we're going to outsource our content to a content team or AI. It doesn't really matter. Here's the journey. First thing that happens is you feel kind of relief. Oh man, I don't have to do that. That's awesome. Yay. Temporary. It's like that guy, they said, how'd you go bankrupt? Well, slowly at first, then quickly, right? So you feel relief. Second thing that happens is they start to tune you out. There's people who I see their content and it's so clearly AI. By the way, I have no problem with using AI to help you with stuff. But if you're not in there, well, I don't fucking need you, man. Right? So they start to tune you out.
It's like a rapper that uses a ghost artist. No one respects them.
Right. Or it's like, I don't mind if they have I've got many things I could say about
You know,
this.
but like when people claim that they wrote it, but you know they didn't.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah.
So you feel relief at first because I don't have to do that. And your team might be happy because now they've got stuff. But then the audience starts to tune you out. And then sales drop. This is what happened to me. This is like my exact journey. Sales drop.
I've done this.
Sales dropped. And then what we ended up doing was like spending 3 times the amount on ads that we used to make up for, like we'd post 3 times more, we'd send 3 times more, we'd spend 3 times more. So like, I know you guys work with a bunch of big brands and these numbers are probably small for many. Well, we're spending like 50, 60 grand a month in ads with no discernible increase in sales. Why? Because now we're just amplifying, like we're just speeding up the rate at which people find out we're no good. Ouch.
That's so painful to think
Dude,
about.
it's so painful.
Yeah.
So can I draw the reverse? This is what happens
Yeah.
when you get it right. This is literally what happened to me and what my clients are going through right now. It's the best thing ever. The first thing is you start to shoot content or you're writing email or whatever it is. The first thing that happens, like you're a bit nervous about it, but you have this experience, usually in the first 1 or 2, max 3 goes where you feel, oh, that was energizing. Like you get a little bit of spark. So you feel a little bit of, let's just call it fun for now, a little bit of spark. You find yourself, find your voice. What happens next is your audience starts to, they find you too. Like I instantly started getting people going, oh man, it's great to have you back. This feels really different. What's changed? Sales increased. And what happened, like we went from 60 grand a month in ads to 2 or 3 or max $4,000 a month in ads, and we've tripled our monthly sales. So we 3x'd money in, not 3x money out. I mean, there's 2 lines here. One goes down and one goes up, and the one that goes up is really great. So I think what we want to do is, if you're finding it harder, like if the market feels more competitive, if you're getting more pushback on sales calls, if business is a bit stagnant and the founder has accidentally muted themselves, that's why.
What if someone's listening to this right now and they say, that sounds great. I have low bandwidth. I'm overwhelmed.
Of course.
And then typically I hear, I'll get around to it.
No, you won't, or you would have done it already. I had a coaching call. This amazing couple, I love them to bits. Husband, wife, they coach people to, women professionals to start investing in real estate. And they're good people. And so we jump on the call and she's like, she's the face and he's like the ops. I'm really struggling to make content. I've kind of lost my mojo about it. I've got too much on. And her husband, Nitty, goes, but you don't have to do the other stuff. You know, all that stuff you just talked about, you don't have to do that. Like you just had 2 weeks away for that big family trip. I took care of the business. We didn't drop a single ball. Everything was fine. She's like, oh yeah, that's true. He goes, honestly, if you did nothing else in the business, but you spent 4 hours a week creating content, we'd double this year. This is your job. It's like, if you're the founder of the business and the face of your business, this is like the single most valuable thing you bring to the business. It's like the only thing that matters is you telling the word, telling your story and bringing people into your world. Like nothing else matters. There's almost nothing else you can do that makes as big an impact. Last month we were away, right? I was in Mexico for 2 weeks, ran an event. And so my job there is coach clients. Then my wife took me on this epic little surprise trip. I didn't know where we're going, but we get to the airport to check in. I'd find out where the next destination was. It was really fun. So we go to Costa Rica. It was on the jungle and the beach. That was great. We get to the next airport and we go to Panama. That was great. Get to the airport. We go to Jamaica and then a couple of days in LA on the way. And so it was a month away. All I did that, like work-wise for that last month was I ran an amazing event, coach clients. let's call it twice a week. I coach clients once a week for black belt, once a week for boardroom. And then remember before we were talking about your world and your worldview? So that was my world. These countries with my family, these experiences with my clients, that's my world. And then all I did was I just pulled stories and lessons and wrote emails about them. All up, last month I spent 12 hours creating content. Okay, 12. Let's call it like 30 minutes in email and some extras. 5 emails a week, and didn't shoot many reels because I was traveling. So that 12 hours, like I think why people are so quick to outsource content is because they don't understand the impact it can have, and they feel like it's a low value outsourceable task. Like I can get GPT to do this for $20 a month. I'm like, yeah, dude, but content's not one job, it's two. Like there's the core, having something to say and saying it, and then there's the mechanics of like posting it and editing and uploading it. And one of them can be outsourced and one of them only you can do. So the 12 hours I put in turned into $80,000 in ticket sales, an extra $112,000. Let's not count the ticket sales because that's play money. It's not recurring. $112,000 a month in extra cash. Like 1.2 million bucks for the year for my 12 hours. It's like 110 grand an hour work. And you're too busy. Show me the thing that you're doing that's worth more than that, because you can't, because there isn't, because it's your fucking job. That's all I want to say.
I'm with you. I think, I talk to a lot of founders right now. What would you say to someone who runs a company?
Yep.
And they're seeing these younger entrepreneurs come up and kind of, I guess, essentially take the market from them.
Yeah.
Because they're doing this thing.
Because they're good at this new stuff.
They're good at this new stuff.
100%.
What would you say to someone who's like not a part of this world, never done this before, is scared of, maybe people in the industry judging them, maybe, feeling uncomfortable, feeling like they're an imposter, or even just creating a story in their head that they don't need to do it?
Yeah. Well, I think if other people are sneaking up on you and eating your lunch, think that I don't need to do it is probably disproved already, because if you don't, it ends up bad. The clients I work with are usually like the face of the brand. And if you're in a business where you're not the face of the brand, then someone has to do it, but it doesn't have to be you. So I know plenty of companies where they have like a spokesperson, like somebody who's the face, or even a couple. I think someone's got to do it. So that's a priority. How do you make it easy? Well, that just comes down like, workflow. How do we make it simple? For me, like I teach stuff in Black Belt. The content from that, parts of the content from that will become a workshop. Parts of the content from that will become a YouTube. When I shoot the YouTube video, it's now fresh in my head, so I shoot 3 reels about it. When I'm promoting the workshop, I'll write the emails and the reels. So it's like one thing, if that kind of makes sense.
It totally makes sense. You're like it reminds me of what Gary Vee talks about around document what you're doing as you're doing it, and the little mini lessons that you pick up in life and in business.
So you're
sharing them.
So I think that's 100% true. But I was chatting with Caleb about this, a mutual friend. Most people think document means have a video guy filming you all day. Layla Hormozi, when he was working with them, it's like, oh, my version of document is think about what happened last week that was interesting and talk about that. Every week, Friday morning, so this morning, I sit down and I got 7 categories from the last week. And I'm just looking for mining for interestingness. Casey Neistat used to talk about like.
Mining for interestingness.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm like, your life is fucking interesting, whether you notice or not. But there's stuff in there that you're energized about. So I got 7 categories. I'll see if I can remember them all. It's on a little worksheet. I go, one hack. Anytime something interesting happens, take a photo of it. And then the scan can be really easy because you just like look through your photos from the last week. Just the last 7. It's really fun. So I just go like, what happened in my calendar? So it's like scan my calendar. Met with that person, went to that place. I write down 2 or 3 things. Clients. What was there a client I worked with where something happened? Oh yeah, took to Ben, did this thing. Chats, like look in my DMs. Any conversations I had that was good. Community, what happened in Black Belt or in Boardroom that's in the, what am I creating? Like is there something I'm working on? Like we're building our November event right now. We're reshooting a program. What am I consuming? I watched this great movie. I saw this great doco. So I just have this like list of 7 categories, and then circumstances is the last one, like what's happening in personal life. And then takes like 7 minutes. Like clock's on. I like to race. And then I just look at the thing, this list of things, and I grab out the highlighter on my iPad here, and I just like highlight the 5 to 7 things which I'm most energized about. Guess what? It's great. So then I'm like, remember I said before, dangerous is when you talk about things that you're energized by, that you have an opinion about. So what am I energized about? That was funny. That was great. That was kind of heartfelt. This was cool. There was like 5 things which are interesting in my world, interesting to me.
So then you're not faking the emotion.
No,
It's real.
100%
It's
it's
attached to something.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a look at this. We spent a week in Jamaica. Like Kieran booked us this trip. We spent a week there. It was amazing. And you know when you go to a country that you've seen on like TV and the movies and it's exactly like the TV and the movies and you love that? Like the first time I went to America and they had like those yellow school buses. I'm like, they have the yellow school buses. Just like
I had that experience in LA when I was like, I've been here in GTA.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So my only experience of Jamaica is Cool Runnings.
Okay.
I don't know. Right?
By the way, one of the best movies from the 90s, man.
Yeah. So I'm doing my interesting in this gold mine, just looking for like what happened, and I had this magic moment. The first day we got there, so we land and get picked up in this van by the driver for the hotel called Perry, and he's like this Rasta looking dude with a massive like Rasta hat.
That's Perry?
That's Perry.
Okay.
And so I just write the story, and like sometimes you don't know what it's going to be until you're in it. Like I've got this story of Jamaica. I'm going to write about it. Sometimes I know what the payoff's going to be, and sometimes I like find it along the way, and that's fine. I think otherwise we get like it's not perfect enough, so I can't even start.
So when you start making the content, sometimes you don't know what the payoff is, but
if it's a video, I always start a video knowing what it's going to be. But for email, my process is like I'm going to effectively like write drunk, edit sober, like Hemingway used to say.
Yeah.
So it was like literally 8 minutes, all gas, no breaks, just no thinking, no delete, no backspace, no nothing, just like go. And then in there'll be like either something killer or a couple of things which could be turned into something. And then tomorrow I'll go and like turn that into something. I got that from Ross, the email PT. Shout out, Ross. All right, so let me read you this email real quick. So photo of Perry, we'll put him on the screen. We landed in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Sun's hot, air's thick, reggae music on blast out the van windows, filling the airport car park. That's where we met Perry. Santa Claus beard, Rasta hat, red, yellow, green wrapped around his steering wheel. So we get in the car, I'm like, hey man, how you going? He goes, Irie, peace and love. Just like that. I'm like, this is amazing. Big smile, thick accent, totally. It's like we just stepped into Cool Runnings. And so as we're driving, I'm like, bro, can you teach us some Jamaican? I want to like learn some stuff. And he goes, Wagwan. I'm like, okay. And I say, what's that mean? He goes, it means like, what's going on? It's like, how are you?
Wagwan.
Wagwan, man. Exactly. And I'm like, all right. And what do I say back? He goes, me good.
Me good.
Yep. Wagwan. Me good. Irie. Respect, man. That's all I know. But
what does Irie mean?
Irie is like, all right.
Irie.
Yep. So they're all like super weird, like mashups with it's great fun. Anyway, so you either say me good or midaya, which is like mid here. It means I'm here. It's weird. I don't get it. Whatever. And so I say this and he goes, respect, man. Like with a K, not a T at the end. Anyway, so we're driving towards the place in this nice van with Perry. They're having a great time. And on the two-way radio, the reception goes, hey, the guests are going to check out in the villa. So Kevin will come and meet them and check them out in the villa, not at reception. And they didn't say Kevin, they said, Kevin, right? So we pull up and I've got like this newfound Jamaican knowledge. And as we're pulling up, there's this dude in this starched white, like immaculate white uniform, colonial style, stiff like one of those Buckingham Palace guards. And I'm like, is that Kevin? He goes, yeah, man. But Kevin's like looking very serious, like he's about to greet the Queen. I mean, JFK standard and the thing, so whatever. Anyway, so we pull up. I'm like, this is not very Jamaican. So I just like buzz down my window and go, Wagwan, Kevin. And he just like bursts out laughing, folds, and now we're best mates forever, right? So that's the story.
Yeah. You just like totally patted and interrupted that.
100%. And he's like, okay, now we're just buds. I don't have to be fancy with this guy. So he folds in half laughing, white teeth, big grin, defense crumples instantly. Wagwan, Mr. Moore, he says. I go, me good. Just like that, we're besties, right? So he was trained to be polished, formal, guarded, professional, just like your prospects. But one phrase, like flip the script. When you speak your prospects' language, they feel like you get them and they're open to talking to you. So
and then the guard comes down.
Right, exactly. So that's just an example of like what's something interesting that I can turn into a thing and I could put a CTA at the end if I want to.
Oh, I see.
And so every week I'm just like, what's the offer? What's the theme? What's interesting about that? And then I'll write, and then my email will turn into a carousel and a reel.
God, that's interesting because you're just you're finding something you actually have connective tissue with,
Right. And like,
and sharing it.
it's uncopyable because like who else met Kevin?
No one.
Right.
You did.
Right. All of that. So that's what makes your stuff different in a sea of like beige sameness is your world, like real lived experience and your worldview. And it's completely uncopyable.
It's almost like, when you watch a really good movie and then later you find out it was a true story.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, it's even better. That
Even
was
100%.
real. Yeah.
That's that. I reckon
Right.
that like that's AI is an amazing tool. And I think the thing that's going to set us apart in the next little while is like how, as they zag, how do we zig or however it's meant to go?
I think it's going to be really fascinating watching people squirm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I fuck it up all the time.
Yeah.
You know what's hard in this new AI world? If you're one of the OG dudes who actually uses the M dash 7 times a day because he thinks it's his favorite piece of punctuation in the whole wide world, and now every time you use one, they're like, stop using AI. I'm like, it's not AI. So one of my emails this week had like, every M dash in this email was handcrafted by me. It's my favorite punctuation, and I won't let the robots take over, make M dashes great again. And
I'm going to send you an M- shirt.
you should. I would wear that. I would 100% wear that
idea
shirt.
for that.
Anyway,
Yeah. I think this is brilliant because you're simplifying the process by enabling founders to find things they actually like.
yeah.
And if you go back, I guess, in your calendar, you can't find anything interesting. There's no novelty there. Maybe you need to make your life more interesting.
Like that's our job. Like live a great life and tell the stories. Like back to Hormozi, his stories aren't like funny, but the reason he gets cut through is because he's lived every bit of it.
I think when Hormozi says something, you're like, okay, he's built so much trust equity around his brand that you believe what he's saying.
Yeah, he's lived it and now he's telling it to you. And that's why like somebody else could say the same words and it doesn't hit because he's got conviction because it's lived.
When you say conviction, like, can you define exactly what it is that he has that maybe others don't?
Certainty, but certainty that comes from knowing, not belief, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's not believing it. He's
not hoping it or wishing it or repeating it. He's like, I just went there and this is what I saw. That's like super trustworthy.
like he's like, I climbed the summit and this is what I found.
Yep, exactly right. I just helped this client. We did these things. This is what works. He and I have this backwards and forwards. Like, man, I just want my content to be fun and useful. He's like, no, I just want mine to be useful. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You're no fun. And he got a massive compliment when Jimmy Carr, the British comedian,
Yeah.
quoted him on stage. I was like,
No.
dude, did you see this? He's like, yes. But I'm like, that's the.
What did Jimmy say?
Oh, he just quoted his thing about it was about confidence doesn't come from like puffing yourself up. It comes from like collecting evidence that you are who you say you are or something like that. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, that's big. By the way, I just want to take a moment and acknowledge the fact that this has become a Hormozi bromance session. We love you.
Do you think that when it comes to creating content and producing media and building these empires, do you think that there's a gap where people aren't thinking big enough?
I mean, maybe it's that. I think most people have no idea what's even possible. I mean, I certainly didn't. Like, if you had said like 15 years ago, whatever, you're going to end up here, I'd be like, like there's no freaking way.
I would
I-
agree, man. This
yeah.
wasn't planned.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So like sometimes like some people like live in the future and know exactly where they're going and they're like, and when they get there, it's because they knew it was possible and they like dragged the rest of the world into their reality. I think that sometimes happens. I think some people like are so in the vision that they forget to do stuff today. I think that like I've
Or
got
maybe
where-
so in the today that they don't have enough of a vision.
probably, but let's not make them bad because I still don't have a vision. I'm
Yeah.
just like solving today's people and helping people out. And if I do enough, like if I solve the thing that's in front of me, identify the constraint and attack it religiously, I end up somewhere great over time. I think you can go both ways.
Taki, a question we ask everyone, and the reason why I started this show was because I wanted to sit with people that I believe are taking agency toward the thing that they want,
Mm.
and that they have something that they can share with others on how they can do it for themselves. Yeah. The last question I have for you is, when you think about the notion of people that have ambition or drive or really want to push towards something that they really want, or even in your case, stuff that they don't want and they want to run away from.
Yep.
What does it mean to you when you think of what it really truly takes to have high agency for a life of freedom, or having the money that you desire, or finding meaning to do it? What does taking agency mean to you?
I'll give you 3 words and then we'll dig into whichever one you think is coolest. I think it takes care about yourself and your situation or somebody else, or there's some situation that needs to change. So it's like you've got to care enough to do something about it. Number 2, there's realizing how much control you've actually got. Like, agency is effectively about understanding you've got some power and using it. And I think most people are completely blind to the fact that they've got so much power right now. You can just do so much. There's that meme on the internet, like you can just do things. You can just do things. You don't need permission. The Wright brothers never had a pilot's license. They just they didn't. They just built a plane and they flew. And I think like there's so many build a plane and fly opportunities around us. So number 1, it's like care about a situation enough to do something about it. Number 2, realize how much control you've really got. And then I don't know a key word for the last one, but every time I've tried to change me, I've failed. And so like I tried to be more this or less that, and I'd fail. And then eventually I just got sick of like trying to change me, and I just realized, you know what? I'm just going to bend the world around me to fit me, like to fit my weird. And as crazy as that sounded, it's been so much easier. I live in this like weird bubble that, you know, revolves around me and works around me, and it's custom built to like fit my weird. So yeah, changing you is hard. Like, you are you. Like, I don't know how to say this clearly. It's just true. There's this quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes which said, "The reasonable man looks at the situation." It says man, but man or woman looks at the world around them and tries to adapt themselves to suit the world. The unreasonable man adapts the world around them to suit their needs. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Changing is like, don't change you, change the world around you to suit your needs. And not manipulatively, but like, we've got chronic ADHD. There's a bunch of stuff we can't do that we can only do because we've got the world around us helping us. That's what I mean.
If I had to pick out of the 3, I'd pick fit my weird.
Yeah.
If you're just going to send us into the end of today's episode,
yeah,
I just want you to go on a wild rant on like what does it truly take to have the world around you manifest to fit you?
It takes a level of delusion to think that A, you can, and B, you deserve it, and B, that it's okay, I think, in a little bit of a way. It kind of seems selfish, but it doesn't, because for everything you're great at, there's somebody else who's great at the stuff that you're not. It's incredibly difficult to be who you're not. I think like the old adage of like work on your weaknesses is okay, but if you work on your weaknesses, all you get is like slightly better weaknesses. And if we play to your strengths, you can be like toweringly great. The world doesn't want to. What's never going to pay to watch you be like a 4 out of 10 at something? Like, if I'm a -10 at a bunch of stuff, if I work really hard, maybe I get to a 4. Maybe it's generous, but maybe a 4. But no one's going to pay to watch me be a 4. They want to see what I can be a 10 at. The only way to be a 10 at something is to bend the world around that. If you think about everyone who's amazing at business or amazing at sport or amazing at relationships or amazing at everything, they've just got like this. This is how we do it, and the world around me is in my orbit. That's what I think about that.
There's a great quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you read Total Recall?
No, I've watched the movie.
Oh man, he wrote his biography. You would love it.
It's called Total Recall?
It's called
That's
Total
great.
Recall, and he recalls his life.
Yeah.
But he has a phrase in there that he talks about, and he had this belief that he carried with him, and he picked it up at some point.
Mm.
And you know how people play this mantra in their mind, like the whole world's out to get me.
Yep.
Everything goes bad.
Yep.
You know, you have these loops you play in your head.
Yeah.
He was playing loops in his head like the whole world's out to help me.
Dude, I 100% believe that. Yes. I mean, Arnie's right. I believe everyone wants to be my friend. I legit believe that. And everybody I meet is really nice to me. And the ones that aren't, they're just like having a bad day or whatever. Yeah, Arnie's 100% right. I don't think the whole world's out to get you. There's a bunch of people who are like, oh, you know, everyone's against me. No, they're not, dude. They're too busy thinking about themselves. Like, they totally are. No one even knows you. And if you're about something and you decide I'm going to do that thing, then what happens is people are looking for someone to follow. People are silently begging to be led, and they love to help. And so if you're, hey, I'd like to do this thing for this reason, there's a bunch of people who just be like, okay, how can I help with that?
Taki, like parting words for anyone listening to this right now who feels moved by this, where to from here?
I think first thing is like, life can be really freaking great. I've had like, today we talked about a lot of the good stuff. But just like I've had some hard stuff like everyone does. Don't let the hard stuff get in the way of you being fully expressed, like a dialed up to a level 11 you. I think that's the main thing I'd like to say. Like for me, life is about expression. Me, my mum, my cousin, Rolf, have this little word for the three of us called life artists. We like to squeeze every drop of juice we can out of every moment, life can be incredible. And all you've got to do is like come awake to the possibility that you can do big things. And if you're scared, fix nervous with service. Just get busy helping people and it'll come back to you.
Fix nervous with service.
Yeah, I got that from my friend Matt Church and I still believe it to this day.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something happens.
Don't picture the audience naked. Just help them. It's better.
Something happens when you do something for others, when you don't feel like doing anything for yourself.
Yeah, the real you shows up.
With that, Taki, thank you so much.
Thanks, bro. This was fun.
We'd love to have you back, I'm sure. Yeah, man, thanks so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me. This is great.
This episode is brought to you by Wix Studio.